movie. Yeah. All right, guys. So today we have Daniel and Janet from Two Doctors Homestead, and we're so happy to have them with us. Been looking forward to this for a very good while now. And guys, welcome on the channel on the live stream tonight, and thank you guys for coming.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having us and sharing your channel with us.
Yes, sir. So Two Doctors Homestead.
Yes.
What is the name? What does that mean? Two Doctors Homestead.
We're both doctors, and it's our homestead.
Okay.
So, we had to come up with something, so we went with Two Doctors Homestead.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love
that. Yeah. When we did the channel, honestly, we weren't watching a lot of YouTube, which seems odd. We did the channel. I had a YouTube channel years ago, and let's do a YouTube channel. I didn't realize there were so many homestead channels on YouTube. I thought I was being clever. And you get on there, now that we're on Instagram, there's like 6,000 or more homesteads on Instagram and Facebook, and it's very popular, which is cool. We just kind of stumbled into it.
Everybody's homesteading.
I would say. Right. Yeah.
Well, I think, when 2020 came around, we were already kind of doing our little homestead thing. I've been growing a garden for a good long while now. We had chickens and ducks several different times. And, when we moved up here, we had started getting them again. 2020 happened, and it just kind of put things into perspective for me. And I think for a lot of people, it did the same.
Oh, yeah.
And, it was back then, you really didn't see very many homesteads. You had Patera, from Appalachia.
Right. We watch her. We watched her. She's great. Yeah. We were watching her.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
You had Arms Family Homestead and Keeping It Dutch and so many other ones, but it didn't seem like there was a lot, right? Yeah. So I, like you, thought I was being clever.
Right. Look what I came up with.
Right.
I think y'all are brilliant.
Right.
And end up there's all these, and I'm like, man, okay. So that's pretty cool though. Two Doctors Homestead. So do you care to say what your doctor's of?
I have a PhD in organizational management and IT management. So we're both PhDs. We're not MDs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not that kind of doctor.
Right. They're not kind of that doctor. No. Yeah.
Right. Well, still though, that's still pretty cool to have a PhD in anything, right?
Right.
That's awesome. So I was just wanting to make sure so anybody watching wouldn't, they might think maybe
like, what is that?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Don't show us pictures of your rash. We don't.
Right. Yeah. I don't do
that. Right. So what kind of homesteading do you guys do? Are you farmers? Are you gardeners? Are you a little bit of both?
Yeah, a little bit, right? We've been down here since 2017. We moved down to rural Texas. We got, I'll say, just under 2 acres. Right. And right away we got the chickens. We weren't necessarily saying, hey, let's go start a homestead or anything like that. But we got the chickens, and we started raising chickens, built a big old chicken coop. We did the ducks right away. We started doing the ducks, and then we ate the ducks. The ducks are pretty gross. If you've ever tried to raise ducks.
Oh, he's had ducks.
Okay. He's had ducks. So we weren't fond of the ducks. So we ate the ducks.
I feel like in order to have ducks, you need acreage and a pond, and you need to let ducks be ducks.
Yeah.
If you want to have an enclosure with ducks, you're just not going to be able to keep up with it.
Yeah, we kind of did an enclosure.
They're dirty.
They're dirty, stinky.
It is very, very hard. That is a wonderful point right there. I've got ducks. The only way that you can keep them in any kind of a enclosure that I have seen successful or have practiced here is a tractor. Some sort of a tractor to move them every day. Because the web feet just beat the grass up. They eat the grass.
Yes.
The other thing is you got to have a swimming pool, right?
We did. It just turned septic. It was a couple 100 gallons. I dug a couple 100 gallon ponds.
You got to have something you can drain and refill.
It just turned into a septic. It was so gross. I had pumps and filters and all that stuff. And you just could not keep up
I used to put fresh water out, and I'm like, y'all just pooped in it on purpose. Because
it's fresh for
you didn't like it fresh.
Right. So they didn't want it.
You didn't even drink out of it. You just pooped, and then it's good.
Yeah.
Because out here, our geese are starting. I got geese to kind of help with the herding up, kind of like a donkey for the.
They're good protectors. Yeah.
Right. And so I got them, and we had some ducks and stuff. We still got ducks, anyways. I got these swimming pools, and the ducks would not really get in the pool. Every once in a while, one might take a dive and do, but wasn't bad. But when the geese came, the geese was not trained like the ducks, and they didn't want to be trained like ducks. Didn't matter what you done, because what I do when the ducks are babies is I will cover the top of those pools where they can only stick their head in and get a drink of water. Yeah. And then it kind of breaks them of the habit of wanting to dive in. They'll stick their neck in and run the water down the back of their head. But But when the geese came, they said, "Nah, brother, the geese get to do it. We get to do it."
Right.
So now they're just like you said. It will be, you'll take out there, take the dirty water out, spray it down, scrub it down, put fresh water in it. And then they're in there while you're filling up the other stuff.
Right. Make sure someone's got to go poop in that one. It's not right.
Right.
It's not right.
As you're going down the line, they're pooping and then sprinkling, right? It's very aggravating.
It is.
I thought I would be slick, and I put some netting over it.
Okay.
Some chicken netting. The real, it's plastic, and so I put that over it and zip tied it to it. And so far, it's so good. The geese don't like it because they can't. They get on there and they're like, "Hey, boss, my butt won't go through," and all it is my feet. This is not cool, right?
Kicking in the water. Yeah.
And so I did it a couple of days ago, and it has worked pretty well so far. Until one of them ended up breaking it or whatever,
Something, right.
We'll figure it out. They're plotting outside right now to get rid of it.
Exactly. But that's a great point, though. The ducks are messy, but now we ate one yesterday.
Oh yeah,
I'm getting ready to put that video up, and that was the first duck that the kids had ever ate, and they look. I didn't even get a bite.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, duck's good.
Duck is good.
Yeah. I made duck tamales.
Right. Yeah. We had we processed 20 Peking ducks on the same day.
I was like, I have so much duck, and then I was like, I've never had duck tamales, so I decided to, instead of just making typical pork tamales, I made duck tamales. Just shredded the duck meat and seasoned it. It was phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh man, that
was really good.
How many of them ducks can we spare out there?
Right. At least one for tamales. One for the tamales.
Try it. It's good.
We did sausage. Don't barbecue duck. We learned that one.
It's too much. They're just
so
too
much grease coming off it. That barbecue just.
Yeah.
It was just. It just about melted the barbecue. All that grease. Yeah. You can't barbecue the duck. Now, but so we did the chickens and ducks, and then later on we did turkeys, and then we got pigs, and we did the garden, and now we have pigs and turkeys and chickens, and we have planted an orchard. And we're like, I think we qualify as homestead at some point. At some point, you're like, I think that works. I think we can go there.
When you stop counting your chickens is when you can qualify as homestead.
Like we could, if we wanted to, we could live off just the chicken coop. I don't want to just live on eggs and chicken. I mean, after a couple years of eating dozens of eggs a day, you kind of tap out on eggs, but I did the calorie count, and we get enough calories that if we just wanted to live on the chicken coop and stop going to the grocery store, we could. Yeah. I mean,
great.
Yeah.
I mean, should anything happen, you can.
That, right?
Right. Yeah. Right. No, it gets old after a while.
Right. I mean, I can only imagine.
It gets old.
I mean, there's turkey. There's a lot of pork.
Right.
I mean, that would be fun. I mean, to try. Have you ever seen? Kevin from Epic Gardening.
Yeah.
He spent 30 days living on nothing but potatoes.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. I think if you Google, let me check real quick. But 30 days on potatoes.
Great potato challenge.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see if a challenge for people to live off of their egg, their chicken coop.
I could do it.
Yeah.
I could live off the pigs we harvested.
Right. Yeah. We harvested pigs. Yeah. We have a freezer full of pork because we harvested 2 600-pound pigs end of last year.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So we have this entire stand-up freezer just packed with pork right now. So our house is unlimited bacon and eggs. You can't eat me out of bacon and eggs.
Right,
unlimited.
Nobody can.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That is funny.
Yeah.
So,
I do like.
What kind of pigs did you guys have?
We had last year. We grew out. They were red wattle Berkshire crosses.
Okay.
And red wattles are an East Texas breed.
Yeah, representing Texas here.
Representing Texas.
Yeah.
And they can get up to 1,200 pounds.
Yeah.
So they are they are a very fast growing breed of pig.
If it gets that big, is it going to be kind of tasting?
No,
they grow. Their
fast.
Feed conversion rate's really good. So they grow. Like we took them it was 9 months. Yeah. At 9 months, they were weighing in hanging weight. It's at about 600
each. Yeah.
Each. So
what?
Yeah, red wattle. It's a very big hog. Like I'm 5'4", and by the time we took them, those two gilts were above my waist. Their back was above my waist.
So we have a 3-foot fence, and they stood above the 3-foot fence, like they could rest their head on the fence.
They were longer than our 6-foot trough that we had. So they were probably about 7.5 feet long at that time. Yeah. But I mean, for pigs, they have a great temperament. They were really sweet, super, super friendly as a pig. Yeah. So I could walk in, and as long as you understand pig behavior, you'll be safe as long as you know what they're doing and where you're putting your body and where they're at. But they were good pigs. I like the red wattle. Yeah.
They were eating about a bag of feed a day. So it was 40 pounds of feed a day at that point.
Yeah. I mean, because that's when we should have taken them probably a month earlier, but it wasn't cold enough here. And we butcher ourselves.
Right. We butcher ourselves. We butcher outside. So we want it to be as cold as possible. Yeah. And if we can have it in the 30s, that's great. Like if it's in the 30s outside, that's basically our backyard's a walk-in refrigerator.
So that at that point they were eating too much.
We just kept dragging it out like, well, I want it to be a cold day. Yeah. So we don't have it, so you get that instant refrigeration effect outside. Right. So that's really what
I like taking them. I like taking them around 8 months. Yeah. And a lot of people take theirs around 6 months. Now, a red wattle, if you take it at 6 months, it's going to be bigger than your Duroc or something like that, because most of those you're going to get probably about 250 pounds, at that point. But there's like this magic thing that happens between 6 and 8 months with the red wattles. With the red wattles. Blow up. Is they go from about
if they're eating 20 pounds of feed each, right?
It was a lot. Yeah. But that's what, $15-20 a day almost just feeding them.
But at that point, at the 6 to 8 month point, they're not eating 20 pounds a day. They're still eating 10 pounds a day. Yeah. But they're putting on, 75% of what their feed was.
Yeah, they get big.
So they will literally double in size between 6 and 8 months. So for the red wattles, if you could keep them, you can take a pig that's 250 and you could harvest it at 8 months for a red wattle, and it's going to be close to 600. Yeah. And you didn't spend that much more.
Right. No, it's you save money on it doing it yourself.
No, by the time we're done, we would spend about $1 or less a pound. Yeah.
For that pork.
Really?
For that pork.
Yeah. And that's raising that pig its entire life.
Yeah, its entire life.
Less than $1 a pound.
About $1 a pound for the pork. Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
That's for bacon. Yeah. That's for the hams.
The bacon, the hams, the sausage.
I cure the bacon. I cure the hams. The last time we pulled, they were like 60-pound hams.
Right, each of the hams.
That ham's that back leg, and you can see.
Yeah.
I mean, did y'all have a big Christmas dinner with that thing? I mean,
we got a deep freezer. So we got a stand-up freezer. Yeah.
Well, we sliced them into
sliced up the ham steaks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I cured it as a full ham and then sliced it into ham steaks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
because the steaks were like, they were
silly. They're silly. You're chopping things into thirds that you might just buy at the grocery store and eat. You take that and you're like, just chop that into thirds there so you can get it in a vacuum bag.
Now I want one of these pigs, man.
No, they're great. I mean,
they're great. I love pigs. I absolutely love pigs. It is probably my favorite thing to grow out.
Did they root a lot?
Yes. Yeah. Red wattles root big time.
Yeah. So
I the coonies.
We got coon.
I have coonies now too.
Yeah.
I love them to death.
Yeah. I had put it, our garden is about 35 by 50. And I put a whole irrigation system, spent days digging trench, had irrigation going everywhere, soaker hoses, the whole thing. We let the pigs in the garden to clear it out. Well, they dug out the entire irrigation system. I'm just like, oh, come on, guys. You know how much work that was?
Yeah, that's my girls.
They ripped it all. They were digging anywhere there was a PVC pipe, like a metal detector. They're like, oh, there's probably a PVC pipe there. Dig down, rip that out.
But I like to run the pigs in my garden at the end of the season because they root, they get everything out, they turn stuff over, they poop in there. We do deep litter for all our birds, so we toss that in there. Oh, yeah. They turn everything over.
They turn it all over.
All we have to do then is just rake stuff out, and everything is pretty much set. I don't need to till. I don't need to do anything.
Yeah, we don't till
they do. They get the grubs. They get the nasty stuff that's in the ground that I don't want in there anyway.
Yeah. Right.
And I think it's good. They're good for regenerating that area.
Yeah, but I had if you're familiar with, I had a kind of a crane that goes on the back of your truck,
right?
For like a lift, an animal lift crane. Yep. Mounts in the tailgate. It's got the support on the ground. I went to lift up the pig, and the crane literally snapped in half.
Yeah, she's big.
Like I guess we're doing it on the ground this time, guys. It snapped the crane in half.
We dressed that one.
Yeah, which 600-pound pig in the grass was a lot. That was a big day's worth of work.
Yeah,
I guarantee it, man. That's just great. Now tell me, when what do you get off the head of a pig?
I don't get anything off the head of a pig, but you can. You could.
No, I take the jaws.
We come up to chins.
I take the guanciale, which is like right there.
Yeah.
And the cheek.
Yeah.
Okay.
But besides that, like we were gonna take the ears and I was gonna scald them and dehydrate them, but you know what? I got 6 dogs and we had 4 years, so I'm like, I'm not even gonna worry about it. It's not even worth it at this point.
So you can get stuff off the head.
Yeah.
But
the meats,
we rendered the fats.
I rendered the leaf
we
lard.
went, basically what they say, tail the squeal. We didn't take we're not digging too hard into the head.
No, and a friend was over and he's like, you should make chicharrones with that. I'm like, take the hide,
yeah,
bro.
Go ahead, buddy.
Because I took the organs.
Like we're tired at this point.
Right.
We start the day, when you butcher day, you start about 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And 9 o'clock at night, we're still processing
meat
and just trying to get everything in the freezer.
Right.
Like you want the head, take the head. You want the skin, take the skin.
Yeah.
At some point, we got to call it a day. Yeah. At some point, we got to call it a day.
Well, I took all the bones when we were done on those 2 hogs. Bones. And I made stock out of them, and I got
that's really good, and it's healthy for you.
I got about 70, 80 quarts of bone broth from those 2 pigs.
Because 2 big pigs
that I canned, which is great.
Right. Yeah. Well, the bones.
I bought those loaf pans, those disposable little loaf pans, and that held about 1.5 pounds of leaf lard by the time I was done, and we got 12 of those, which was nice.
Yeah.
And it's snow white. Like I rendered it out till it was completely pure, and I filtered it. Mm-hmm. Now there was some coal fat that was in there and whatnot, but because I went through the organs and took the organs for the dogs.
We saved the organs for the dogs.
Yeah, to make dog treats.
We had about 40 pounds of bacon. I think it was
40 pounds per.
40 pounds per. Okay,
so 80 pounds of bacon.
80 pounds of bacon.
And I trimmed it out a lot.
Pounds per pig.
That was a perfect rectangle of bacon.
Right.
I could have cut more bacon, but I trimmed it. I did a real heavy trim on it because we grind it for sausages. And I just knew we had 80 pounds of bacon. So at that point, you can square it off as much as you need.
Yeah. So just the bacon paid for everything.
Right.
Just the bacon itself.
Is very expensive.
Yeah.
That's great. I really want to get one of these pigs now. So,
look for red wattle. We got a person out here, but they're in East Texas. That's probably a little ways for you.
Right. Yeah.
And I think West Virginia.
Yeah, that's a good drive. Maybe what I could do is see the next time that the Blands are coming up this way. And I'll just get the Blands to y'all know who Bland's Promised Land Ranch is?
No.
Get them and get you some red wattles.
Yeah. Well, Blaine's Promised Land Ranch is down there in Texas too, and Eric is from West Virginia. So maybe the next time they're doing it, I can just say, "Hey, man, you need to bring me one of these red wattle pigs up here."
Right, absolutely.
But, yeah, because when we get them, they're already. We get them 8 weeks usually because they're off mama, and I'd say that they're probably already the size of a beagle at that point. And that's a piglet.
They're bigger than the coons. They got to go.
They're like
at 8 weeks they're bigger than.
At 8 weeks they're bigger than probably a year-old coonie.
Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I have 2 coonies now, and those girls
they're so cute.
I mean, I got them. I'm like, these are pets.
They're Pomeranians. They're Pomeranian pigs.
Yeah. These are just going to be little pets. Yeah. I got a little swimming pool out there for them. I give them little pieces of cheese. They're just pets for me.
They're fun. They're a lot of fun.
Oh gosh, I love them.
I'm a little frustrated with mine because I don't know what it is, but I guess Petunia, which is the older female, and she was supposed to be full blood coon. We went and got her, and the girl was like, "Oh yeah, she's coon and micro pig." It was like, what is a micro pig?
What exactly?
Was it like a Julian?
Yeah, that's not a thing.
Like exactly. Belly.
It's
not real.
Right. So then we went and got Wilbur, who is a full blooded coon, and then we bought Violet from goodness gracious, Stephen is my buddy. He has Hematite Homestead. I'm wearing his shirt tonight. Good grief.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyways, he raises coons, and he's got some fantastic bloodlines. So we bought Violet from down there, and I guess Petunia is the boss pig of them all, and she's bullied Wilbur, which she was smaller than Wilbur by a good bit whenever we got the 2 of them.
Yeah,
right?
You gotta watch those little ones. They're all knocking people.
Yeah. Well, when we got her, the lady said she was like 8 weeks old or something like that, but I don't think she was. She fit in a small dog kennel.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, and every morning we would, she was tiny. She wouldn't hardly eat. And the lady was, "Oh yeah, she can eat food." Brought her home. She wouldn't really eat anything. So we think she just got rid of her way before we're thinking she's
too early.
She's probably 4 weeks old, probably is what we
think. Right.
Anyway, every morning without fail, 4:30, 5 o'clock, she would back her butt up to the end of that kennel because we kept her on a hook chest. Right. And she would run to the front of it and hit the door. And she would continue to do that until it fell off and woke somebody up.
You gotta love pigs. Right. They're so smart.
They are smart. Pigs are really smart.
Very smart. But now she's out there, and we have tried to breed her time and time again with Wilbur. It don't matter what you do. She will throw a fit on him. Will not.
She's not having it. She's squealing.
Yeah. And I think he's just like, dude, you know what? I'm done with it.
I tried.
Yep. You can go out there and she'll be in full blown heat. And he'll be over there laying on his side. Like, Wilbur, you want to do something?
No.
Right.
Okay. Whatever, dude. So we're probably going to get rid of Petunia because, like I said, she's not full blooded. She's only half at best. And if we get rid of her, we're hoping that he'll be dominant over Violet. And then when Violet comes into heat, she'll be able to breed. I think she's going into heat, every 21 days or whatever it is. Now I think, she's a little over a year old now. And, so I think she's, starting to do her thing, but, he won't even try on her. So I think if we get rid of Petunia, the problem one, then we'll be able to start getting some babies. And then I'm going to probably have to take those babies to another house to raise them out because anything that we raise here, I get a lot of protest when it's time to eat said.
Yeah. Okay.
It's part of it. Circle of life.
They're lard pigs. They're going to have a lot of nice marbling in those pork chops and stuff. Yeah. So I bet they taste good.
Right.
Go to Hematite Homestead when you get a chance to check out his channel. He's very, very knowledgeable about those pigs, and he has some very, very good bloodlines. But he does a lot of different things, showing you, how he does his meat and stuff like that, and what it looks like, So check him out for sure. He loves it. He says it is the best pig he's ever ate, except for another pig that I cannot remember the name of, but it's a very
Mangalisa.
That's what it. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Mangalistas,
yeah,
like
you can
the
get those
co-baby
around
for
here.
pigs,
Yeah, you can get Mangalistas around here. We were debating between coons and the Mangalistas.
The problem with the Mangalistas is they root.
Mm.
They're bigger, so they're about as big maybe as like a Duroc pig, you know. So they're going to be a little bit bigger like a feeder, but they root. But they're still a lard pig. So they're gonna. I mean, I guess it's the best of both worlds because it's bigger like a feeder, but it has all the marbling. But you got to keep them till 18 months to harvest.
It's 18 months,
and to keep anything that roots for 18 months.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have acres upon acres for that, and just be ready for it to be trashed.
Yeah. Right? Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or put it on a concrete pad.
Right.
Yeah, you could.
Right. You're going to have to run it like you'll have to run it like production on a concrete pad in a stall, which you know
people do. Like that's the industrial.
Just,
we try to avoid going that industrial route, but it's a thing you could do. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And you know, because I've struggled with that. You know, I've thought, well, you know, these pigs they're rooting. You know, we can feed them all the hay they want. Mine can't. I'm on an acre. So everything I have is on 1 acre. They get as much as I can give them. You know what I mean? Right.
No, same. Right. I mean, we're under 2 acres, so
Right. So you guys know the struggle, and you can give them X amount of room, and the reason why I like the coonies is they don't really test it. They don't try to get out. They don't really fool around. You know, they're fine right there. But the problem is, no matter how much hay you give them, no matter how much grass you throw over the fence to them. I mean, because I can go out there and cut the grass and literally take the grass clippings and dump over it.
Right. I'll do that. I'll do the same. I'll do the same. Yeah.
But they still want to root because they're bored. They don't have grass to graze on. Right. And so I was sitting there and I'm like, you know, should I, you know, step back, you know, put them on one side of what we got, because we got a split pen, put them on one side, you know, concrete so much of it to where they're not able to root the entire thing. You know what I mean? And then they can kind of, you know, take the other half and do whatever they want down there on that half.
Right.
And then I thought, well, you know what, if I do that, even if I go to sell this place, people's gonna be like, I got a concrete pad in the middle of nowhere.
What are you doing?
Right. They're not going to like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was just like, it would be easier to let them root, level it off. You know what I mean? Because they're literally leveling it off. There. And they're bringing because it's on a slope. So they're bringing all the top dirt down.
Oh, they're smart.
Right. And
they're
bottom
smart.
dirt is coming up. Right. So
right.
it'll be level.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, that would be easier. And then if I ever wanted to, I just bring, you know, a bunch of compost over here, or, you know, and switch them up, you know, a little bit, go over there, you know, whatever, or just bring field dirt over here, flatten it off and sell it if I ever needed to sell it.
Yeah.
So, but you're right. For a pig that is going to root 18 months, you would have to have a lot of room. And it is a struggle for people who are like us, who don't want to go commercial route. We want those pigs to be as close to being natural as possible.
Right. Keep them happy.
To me, that's the point. It's just, you know, let them have a great life, as natural as what they normally would as a pig, with lots of love, and it translates to the meat because the food's good.
It tastes like love.
Tastes like love.
Tastes like love.
And people would look at us and think, well, you're, you know, normal people, I guess, because in today's world we would be abnormal, right?
Right.
But you know, other people are going to be like, I can't believe they just said that. You know, it translates to love, but it does. If you taste meat that was grown and raised by people who fed it, took care of it, loved that animal. You can taste the difference in it. And the difference is because those animals are not constantly dropping adrenaline, right? And
they're not stressed out all the time.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And that turns into issues with the meat, the taste of the meat, and issues with the animal itself, you know, and then you're ingesting those problems.
Right, you know? Right. Where do you think the meat at the grocery store comes from?
Right.
Exactly.
You know, from animals that probably weren't well taken care of.
No.
You know?
I guarantee you, the guy at the chicken line ain't sitting there going, "Oh, thank you, Henrietta, for that egg."
Right. Yeah. Hey, let me rub your belly and bring you some carrots and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're going in there going, picking it all, or shooing them into a cattle prod thing or whatever, and into the chute and down the lane you go. You know.
You really appreciate your food when you grow it yourself.
You do. Yeah. If you spend 6 months, 8 months with an animal and then you process it, you harvest it and process it, you put a lot into it, you raise the animal, and then you're eating the bacon. You knew where that bacon came from.
Yeah,
you bonded with that animal.
I mean, grow out a turkey and see how long it takes to grow out.
Yeah, we grew out. The first thing we did 3 turkeys,
and then you got to pluck that turkey, and turkeys are not as easy to pluck as chickens. So you're hand plucking a turkey, and then you're cooking that turkey.
Right, end of the day, you got a turkey.
I took one to Thanksgiving once, and nobody wanted to eat it because I raised that turkey. I'm like, do you know how much went into raising this turkey?
Animal, right.
I mean, we're talking months upon hours here for this turkey.
And you want to eat it?
And nobody wanted to eat it because I raised it. It's like it has I know everything that went into that turkey.
Right. We know what it
you
ate.
have absolutely no idea what was given to that turkey that you got at the grocery store.
Yeah.
But somehow my family believed, extended family, that the turkey from the grocery store was better.
It was somehow better to eat. Right.
I'm like, okay.
That blows my mind.
Something wrong with people nowadays.
There is.
Because they're still city people.
Right.
we're not city people anymore.
Yeah.
They're still city people.
Yeah.
So it should be in styrofoam.
That's so crazy because I would be like, I'm going to try it. You know what I mean? I want to see. What
it was great. Yeah, no, it was
great. And it was fresh, never frozen. So it was a 50-pound tom. I'm saying 50 pounds dressed. So I mean, ready to go in the oven, he was 50 pounds.
Yeah,
but that was
it was a beast. It was a broad-breasted bronze.
Yeah, they were broad-breasted that we grew out that year. And now we do heritage turkeys, but he was 50 pounds in the oven, and he took like an hour and a half. Right. Because it was never
something different about turkeys that never been frozen.
Yeah, something happens to the meat when they freeze it because it's a turkey takes hours upon hours to cook in the oven, and 50 pounds done. I'm like, I think that turkey's done. I was wiggling its leg. I'm like, no, that turkey is done, and it's been an hour and a half.
It was done like 8 hours sooner than it should have been done because it was never frozen. But we had to time it out like day by day, because once you butcher the bird, it's got to still go through rigor. So you're soaking it in the cooler. So you had to have every day planned out. So it was ready to go on Thanksgiving. Yeah. No freezer action. So it's literally like you have to have every single day planned out. So the bird is absolutely ready on the day you need it to.
Right.
So you can't just kill it and eat it?
Maybe if you're real quick.
You got to be quick. I mean, even with chickens, rigor is going to set in about, I'd say 30 minutes.
Yeah. So
you got to be able
certainly poultry, and not just poultry, but I know for sure poultry goes to rigor. So which means if you find a dead chicken or something like that, the legs are going to be real stiff. The whole body goes stiff.
Right.
Well, that's in rigor. If you try to cook it when it's in rigor, it's going to be shoe leather. Mm-hmm. So the rigor mortis has to process, and once that passes, it's all soft again.
Right, then the meat just kind of
it's gone through rigor. So when you're processing a turkey, when you're processing chickens, unless you can get it in the pot before it gets stiff, basically.
And I've done that. I've taken roosters and
just go right into it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're not plucking them at that point. At that point, I'm skinning them. I have to skin them and just take everything off the bone.
Right.
And then put them, in the pot to cook them. And that's fine because I can get that done in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the meat's good.
Right. So, I mean, it's literally a couple days it has to go through, either in the fridge or in a cooler with ice or something like that. So the rigor can pass and then the meat softens up.
That's like the birds, but the pork's not like that.
Right. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, I'm not saying all animals are exactly. I'm sure every animal goes through rigor, through that process. But with birds, they'll go pretty quick. They go quick into rigor.
Well, I've watched all kinds of chicken videos, right?
Yeah.
Of them processing it, and I've never once heard any of them mention this. So this is interesting.
You can Google it. I'm not making this stuff up. It goes through rigor. If you chuck it in the freezer immediately. Right. When you pull it out of the freezer, it's still got to go through rigor.
Yeah.
So if you keep it in the fridge for a couple of days, then you put it in the freezer, it's gone through the rigor mortis process, basically. Yeah, it's still got to go through that. I mean,
that is crazy, but that's good information because, like I said, I've watched Joe Salatin. He's never said anything like
I don't know who he is, but I mean, they should know if they've done it. You think
they might be leaving a little bit out,
right? Leaving the secret recipe out, the secret sauce. Yeah, it's got to go through rigor. I mean, that's just
crazy.
Yeah.
Have you guys got a video about that?
No. No.
Man, I'm telling you guys, that would be, I'm telling you, that would be a good video, because I've been watching these videos on people doing all these chickens and ducks and stuff, and they're just dunking them in the tank, plucking them.
Yeah, you do that, gutting them,
and putting
them in
a bag and freezing them.
No, you got to fridge them. You got to fridge them for a couple days.
Yeah, you got to fridge them.
Like nobody ever mentions this,
unless they just don't know. I mean, as I say, you can Google it. I'm not making it up.
Unless their meat's just real
and they
tough
might be like, "Hey,
eating.
these things are so tough. Like you got to put it in the crock pot because the meat's so tough."
Right.
It's like because you didn't let it go through rigor. I mean, it didn't really die yet. Is kind of what rigor mortis is. Yeah, it's got to go through that.
That would be a great video. I'm telling you guys.
Yeah, we might.
Because that would. I mean, that just blew my mind.
Same thing with the ducks. Like we put the ducks in the fridge for a couple. You'll know when it's gone through rigor because it goes from being locked up to it's all loose again. You're like, all right, now it's ready to go in the freezer or whatever you're going to do with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what we had to do with the turkeys. We had to harvest.
Yeah, harvest it, and we had them in coolers with ice.
Rigor.
We were icing it for days just to get it through that process, so it was ready to go on Thanksgiving.
Right.
Popped it and then popped it in the oven.
Now here's my question. So if you get the bird and it goes through rigors, how many days is it good for after it's went through the rigors?
Well, so we keep it on ice, right? You wouldn't want to just leave it sitting on the ground.
Oh, you mean like fresh in the fridge before you're going to process? Yeah, I wouldn't go past like 7 days in the fridge before you're going to process it into the freezer.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is still just meat, right?
Right,
it's meat in the fridge.
Fresh meat.
But it does, it has to go through rigor. I mean, you can put it in the freezer after that, right? But it's got to have those couple days.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
because that's just really interesting stuff.
And if you want it to be close to where it is at the grocery store, which we don't do this, but a lot of people, if they grow their own chickens and then they're like, it just doesn't taste the same. It's because the grocery store, they soak it in salt and water for a couple days to plump it. Yeah. So I mean, if you want it to have more of that juiciness, plumpness, that's just because there's more water in the meat. So you gotta put it in because they're charging
you by the pound, so they'll inject them with salt water. They soak them in salt water.
Yeah, just soak them in salt water.
The bird absorbs all the salt water,
and then
and nice and plump at that point.
Right.
So you're paying $3 a pound for salt water.
Yeah. That is very, very interesting as well, isn't it? Because I know a lot of times you'll see, packaging, they'll say, added, blah, blah, blah,
Right.
But nobody ever looks at that.
Yeah.
Right. Selling you water.
Right. Selling salt water. We were looking, I think it was HEB. I don't remember exactly, but you get those pre-packaged, pre-cooked chickens, like little broiler chickens.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It had like 1,000 milligrams of salt.
No, it had 10,000 milligrams of sodium in it.
Yeah, 10,000 milligrams of sodium in the chicken.
Because
chicken doesn't have 10,000 milligrams of sodium. It means they were injecting the F out of it with salt water just to plump it up. And then they're selling you that. We're looking at like, that's a crazy amount of salt.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
the shelf life on that would be amazing.
10,000?
It's at 10,000 milligrams. You know how they do that is they just break the serving down to 1 ounce.
Right.
It's
how much
like,
for 1 ounce
it's 500
serving.
Milligrams of sodium.
Right, and we're doing the math.
For
we're like, that's a lot.
2 ounce portion. Well, wow. Yeah. By the time you're done adding up all the portions, you've got 10,000 milligrams.
Get the calculator out.
And that one rotisserie chicken.
Right.
That's that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's salt water brine right there.
Yeah. It's a salt water.
Man, you think about it. I wonder how many. That would be another good test to do. Soak your chicken in salt water for however many days we think or we know that they soak theirs in. Weigh the chicken before the salt
we did
water.
that. We did that with our turkeys.
We did, yeah.
So we did one. We had one hen. Yeah. We weighed her and then we soaked her in a saltwater brine for 2 days. And she picked up like 10 pounds in that saltwater brine in the 10 days.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Because it just absorbs it. It just sucks it up like a sponge.
Well, it's probably not the steroids that we're seeing making these chicken breasts look as big as my forearm. It's
saltwater soak. It could be a mix, but it's probably the salt soaking in as much salt as it can.
That's the DNA splicing they're doing there.
Yeah, like the Cornish cross.
They're making some
like
jumbo Cornish
the broad-breasted, like the breasts on the broad-breasted bronze were huge. I mean, because the 3 turkeys we processed, the broad-breasteds if you're familiar with them, though, you've kind of got two types of turkeys, right? You got the heritage breeds, which is what we have now, and you got the broad-breasted. The broad-breasteds are like the Cornish cross, Cornish cross in chickens, right? So it gets really big really quick. But if you didn't process it 6 months, a year, it would kind of get too big on its own, right?
Yeah, by 6 months, its legs are going to break.
Yeah, I mean, they just get too big.
They're just not.
Yeah,
they're not genetically made to carry that
They've been
weight.
genetically crossed to grow really big, really fast.
They can't even reproduce naturally.
Yeah, the white ones. Is that the ones I was talking about?
It's not so much the color.
There's broad-breasted white and there's broad-breasted bronze.
Yeah,
broad-breasted white is what you get at the grocery store because the quill actually, the color of the feather will show up in the quill, and then you have like little circles on the skin. So if you process a dark turkey, you'll get like just little dots.
Right.
It's not.
So,
but
did you know you can pop them like pimples?
Yeah.
It'll shoot out.
Yeah. But then you got the heritage breeds, which is what we have now, and those grow kind of slower, more naturally. Yeah. But they're not going to be this giant beast of a bird that you're used to getting at the grocery store.
And they can mate and they can reproduce, and their legs aren't going to break. But they're not going to have ginormous turkey breasts on them.
Yeah,
right.
I was watching a channel the other day, and the woman was canning chicken, and I swore that was as big as a turkey breast was.
Right.
It was like that long. And I'm thinking, where are you getting these chickens? That is
right.
It's Jurassic Park chicken that you're processing.
We got a turkey that we got several, but last fall we had bought some of the white turkeys. Right now we all it said at Royal King was white turkeys.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And we ain't been in mind to it, and one of them died, and then the one that was left was just kind of like, so I hand fed this turkey. Literally would have to open her mouth and put food down her gullet until I felt her crawl fill up. I did that for weeks on end. Yeah. We finally got like, hey, and so as she got bigger, she would chase you, run for like if she seen you coming, she would run. Like you got food. Yeah, I just thought it was cute.
I know. I got 20 turkeys outside that chase me everywhere because they sit on my lap.
A whole gaggle. She's got a gaggle of turkeys now.
I thought it was cute, so I started just feeding her every time she would run, right? Because I thought it was cool to make videos of. Well, I didn't know, anything about these turkeys that are like these, Cornish cross, right?
Yeah.
Until just now.
The broad-breasted,
right. Well, see, we got other turkeys. We got some artisan golds, which is a rare turkey.
I have some artisan gold. They're pretty, aren't
right,
they?
They're very pretty. We got some of those. They're young, and then we got Orpington, not Orpington. It's starts with
Blue Slate.
No.
It
sounds like Orpington, but it's it's similar to Orpington, but it's not.
Yes.
That's my wife. But we have a couple of those, and they're not growing that fast. So when you're mentioning these Cornish crosses, because here's what made me think about it. Tamina is what we call our big white female. We call her Tamina. She is like a football player out there. Yeah. And we'll you can throw food down, she'll be the first one there. But as soon as you throw the next thing of it out, she's bulldozing everybody, everything, and just hitting them and knocking them out of the way.
Big Bertha's knocking them out of the way.
Right, exactly. So I'm kind of curious to wonder if that isn't these one of these broad-breasted.
The broad-breasted, right? Instead of heritage.
Is she straight white, or does she have any black coloring on her?
She's just white, white.
She's just white, yeah.
Yep.
Well, I would think so, because the only white turkeys I know are Royal Palms, which I have, which are white, but they have black tips.
Right.
And then there's like a midget white that's all white, but that's going to be a smaller turkey. So, she's probably a broad-breasted white.
How old is she?
Oh gosh, I think we got her in September or October. And she's not huge by no means. She's tall, but she's not. But I'm telling you what, she acts like she never gets enough to eat.
Yeah. So could be. Could be. Yeah.
And I just started questioning it this week because I'm sitting there going, that turkey shouldn't be like that all the time.
Yeah, it's probably broad-breasted then.
Yeah, she's probably broad-breasted.
Yeah.
Because my heritage breeds, they eat when they're hungry.
Right.
I throw down stuff and they're like, we don't eat that.
Yeah. Right.
Exactly. They'll turn their nose up on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
If there's anything that comes out there, buddy, she's like teep teep. Tip, tip, tip,
yeah.
And ready to, I mean, as soon as she hears you come around the corner of the house, she's sitting there going, tip, 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 tip,
Yeah.
And like I said, I started questioning that. And then, like what was going on? Why was she always hungry, And now that you guys say that, it's probably what it is. It's kind of sad because I really like her a lot. I was going to keep her around forever.
I mean, as long as she doesn't, like the broad-breasteds eat a lot and get huge, but if you're controlling how much she eats, it might be keeping her alive longer.
Right. Because I know the broilers, the first time we got broilers, my son had trained a couple of them to come hand feed and play with them and stuff.
Yeah.
And Daddy wasn't allowed to kill them.
No. Oh, okay.
Right.
Well,
those two probably couldn't walk after a while.
They got to where, here's what happened. You'd go out there and their combs would start turning purple.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they were having heart problems.
The wattle would start turning purple.
And when you see that, their heart's going.
Yeah. And so, and I'm talking they were about like that. They were big.
Yeah.
But I had to tell him, hey,
they're not going to make it.
No, they won't make it.
It's just not that breed.
Right.
Yeah.
But it makes you wonder, do you guys know? Because I have tried to look into what the Cornish cross is. What bird is it that makes this, this cross grow so fast, be so aggressive, and not be able to reproduce, right? And how did they come up with it? Do you guys know any of this?
I don't know what they crossed when they actually crossed them out. But I know they can't reproduce because they're too breast heavy. That's the problem.
Right.
The breast get so big that they actually can't mount and get on there and be able to, go vent to vent.
Now the females can lay. The females we had were laying eggs, right? And the roosters were riding them because we had some really big production red and Americana roosters, and they would ride the female. Now there was, out of those that we had, there was one rooster, and then the rest were all hens. But the rooster never tried anything. And none of them really ever, like, we fed them nothing but meat bird food. They didn't get very big. And I think the reason why is we got them in the fall. We got them late September, early October for like a quarter a piece from Rural King.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Winter time
is tough. Yeah. The winter's tough.
With them.
Yeah. We try to avoid doing that because, we have Atwoods, Tractor Supply. You've got the spring chickens and then you got the fall chickens, and we try to avoid the fall.
They burn a lot. Chickens, they burn a lot of feed just to
get into the winter time. Yeah. We rather get them. Like Janet started hatching in January, and she just finished hatching
because he told me it was time.
I forced her to stop hatching chickens like a month ago, maybe a couple weeks ago. So like the first 6 months of the year, she was hatching. Hatching chickens for 6 months.
He's got to tell me though. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I've hit that time.
Right, hit that moment.
I reached that moment of epiphany when I walk out there and I'm like, wow, I really did breed a lot of chickens.
There's a lot of chickens out there.
When it hits me that I really did breed a lot of chickens, I'm already way past.
Right, past the
point. He probably knew a month before.
Yeah.
What do you do with all of them? Do you sell the chicks? Do you raise them up, eat them, and what do you rotate through hens? What do you do with all of them?
Well, see, here's the deal.
Yeah.
I'm doing a color project for Brahmas. So I have some light Brahmas that are show Brahmas. Okay. And I had some female buff Brahmas that were show quality, but they weren't from a show breeder. Right. So I was combining those genetics because the guy that I got it from, his Brahmas are like old 1800s genetics where the boys are like 20 plus pounds and they're giants.
Giant chickens. Yeah.
So there's nobody showing buff Brahmas in Texas right now.
Okay.
So I'm crossing the light and the buff over multiple generations until I can get splits, until I can get buffs that are jumbo,
ones,
So I've been working this color project for a while. So in order to do that, you gotta like hatch a lot because, right now I'm at about 75% white that's come out of these splits and maybe 25% buffs. Right. And then out of those 25% buffs, they might not have the coloring that is needed to keep that I want to be able to reproduce with. So, it's right. We have more chickens than we normally do now just because I'm trying to get through this color project.
So we have a big chicken coop. Our chicken coop's 52 by 12.
Oh, wow. That's a chicken trailer.
I mean, I can put a lot of
52 by 12. Yeah, we got room. We got room for chickens.
There's a lot of room for chickens.
52 by 12.
And I've given chickens to friends,
Yeah, we give them away. We gave away chicken this weekend.
I did. I had some black sex links that came out because, I have some, some barred rocks and I have some cuckoo marins. And their eggs look almost identical to a Brahma's egg, and so I ended up put some in there and didn't know it. So, out of that, I got some black sex links out of it, but I got the male version of a black sex link, which is barred. And I didn't, I don't want that. So I gave, some roosters to friends who actually like that barring. But when we have feeder pigs, honestly, like
we had the feeder pigs,
everything just kind of goes with each other here. Yeah. So when, like last year, I grew out a lot of chickens. Yeah. And when I knew it was a roux, I could usually tell by 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Right.
I wanted to make sure I wanted to at least see saddle feathers coming in. Instead of, just watching for the behavior of the chicken. But, I would feed them to my feeder pigs.
Yeah.
Because I turned chicken into,
euthanize
into bacon.
Them, of course.
Yep. Yeah, we would euthanize them, but then I would feed them to
chuck them over the fence.
Yeah, and the chicken.
9 of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
To the pigs yesterday.
Just to the pigs,
pigs will just devour them. I don't know about the coon-coons. Maybe the coon-coons would.
Hey,
I would have to take it. I wouldn't be able to just toss them in there.
Okay. Yeah.
Good.
The feeder pigs, like the first time we gave a chicken to the feeder pigs, you come out the next day and there was like half. They had half the chicken.
I had to pull.
Right. You had to help.
I had to pull some feathers off and I had to cut into the breast to show them.
When they were 600 pounds each. When they were 600 pounds each, it was gone. It was just gone.
They just took them out of my hands.
Gone. Yeah, we'll take that one.
And they were gone.
Yeah, we'll take that one. Thank you. And that thing was just gone.
The coon-coons learned real quick. First one I threw over there, it was a dead one.
Right. Yeah, we always give them to a dead. Yeah.
Right. It tangled itself up in the net and killed itself. Threw it over to him, put its foot on there, grabbed the hold of the breast, ripped it. That was it. All 3 of them went and said, "Hey, I want a piece of that too."
All right, we'll have to try that.
Yeah, that's the one thing that we were wondering if our coonies would actually.
They're so tiny.
Handle.
They're little Pomeranians. They're like that big.
And it's hard for us to imagine because we went from 600-pound pigs to
these little,
this little baby. Guys, but no, that's good to know because that's usually what we do is we just give. I give the roosters. I always keep hens, always, and I have some chickens out there that are. Going on 7 years old. So we have a lot of chickens, but we have I probably have about 25 right now that aren't laying anymore and they're on their way out. And we keep the ones that aren't laying anymore on their way out because they're already part of the pack and they have the pecking order all the way down.
Right.
They're teaching the younger ones how to be a responsible chicken. With good chicken behaviors,
Right.
I work from home and I was on a call at work and she's like, "Hey, get me a chicken for dinner." So I go out, go on mute on the call, process a chicken, here you go.
Right.
Because those Brahma boys.
We go on mute for a second here, go grab you a chicken, process
I'll have a 5-month-old Brahma boy that I might not keep because, his feathering is just jacked up and he's not good for show.
Right.
But, he's already, 10, 12 pounds.
Right.
At 5 months. So they're good eating.
Yeah.
And we do that with the extra eggs too. That's kind of when we get too many eggs, I'll scramble the eggs and give the eggs to the pigs and the turkeys because the turkeys love the chicken eggs.
Oh yeah.
The chickens are the cheapest ones to feed.
I got a puppy right here.
And then I'll give that to turkeys and I'll give that to the pigs. Yeah. So everything just kind of lives off each other.
That's how it is around here. It's just like you said earlier, circle of life, right?
Right.
A lot of these things, they're like yesterday, these were either hens that were completely done and laid out, right? They were no
Mm-hmm.
good to any of us.
Right.
They were eating up food, profit, you know, and I've got a whole new batch ready to replace them.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we took them out. We took out a bunch of roosters
Mm-hmm.
that we could tell were roosters, weren't big enough to eat.
Right.
So there wasn't no need to process, but they had to go. Right.
Right.
We try to give everything a home first. You know, we put it up on the internet. Hey, here, you know, this is what we got.
Yeah. Right.
You know, nobody wants it.
It's food. I mean, it's your food.
You know,
right. It's food. It's food.
And that's one day that I don't have to go out there and feed the pig grain.
Yeah, nobody feels guilty going to KFC. Right. You shouldn't feel guilty processing chickens in your backyard.
That's right. Absolutely.
Right.
No excuses needed. You go to KFC and you're not like, well, you know, I couldn't go to KFC. You know, if everybody goes to KFC, I got no problem processing a chicken in my backyard.
Right. Exactly.
And
no guilt. No shame, no guilt.
We don't keep mean roosters, so I have no problem taking out a rooster just because he's got an attitude towards me. Yeah. You know, there's no room for a mean rooster in a coop, so they got to go.
We're the same way here. You get one or two chances. Yeah, you might hit me once out of pure, you know, because I've seen them get mad at you know, especially if there's like two roosters in there or you know something. And I've seen roosters get upset about something, and for whatever reason, you know, flog you because he's mad at something else. You know what I mean? I have seen them do that. But you get like one or two chances, and if I gotta start watching my back,
they don't even get that chance.
Yeah, no, she's Italian, I'm Irish. She's like that one.
Gone.
Yeah,
they do not. They don't get it. Like my boy,
she calls the hits. That one.
One. My boys, every boy that I keep, I can pick that boy up, and I will pick that boy up, and that boy will put his head down on my shoulder, and I will kiss him and love him. If he doesn't realize that I'm the top rooster, he does not live in my coop.
Right.
So I go in the coop, and if I want to pick up a rooster, I pick up a rooster, and my roosters squat for me, and they put their arms out because they're like, "Oh, the big rooster's coming in now."
Right. See, that's the way it should be. But man, some of these breeds, that's just how they are. They're just some of them are meaner and all.
We don't keep
I wanted to keep some Wyandottes because I love female Wyandottes, and I wanted to breed some true Wyandottes. So I went and got some straight runs because I knew dang well that I was going to get like out of those 10, probably 10 were going to be roosters. And I gave those boys a chance. I gave those boys like 4 months, and I went out there as babies. Every day I picked them up, and you know, around 2 months old, they started kicking when I picked them up, and I would sing to them and they'd settle, but they just never settled. And when I'd get them, they would start just squawking and coming at my face. And I'm like, you're out.
Right.
You know, I'm not keeping you. I don't need to have pure Wyandottes. All my Wyandottes can be crossed with the Brahmas that I have because they're really nice birds. Because I did keep one well summer male because I like well summers, because I like well summer eggs. I mean, they're just pretty. They're dark brown with red spots on them. Yeah. So, and he keeps to himself. If I pick him up, he just stands there. And, you know, if not, I come in the coop and he's like, oh, shoot, she's coming. And he runs the other way. And that's fine. I mean, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But those other ones, they were like coming up to me and like, you want a piece of this, bro? I'm like, no, you don't want a piece of this. You're gone, buddy. You're gone.
I have done that so many times because they just, you know, it's weird because you can be out there minding your own business, you know, and they're just out of nowhere, you know. It's like, what is wrong with you?
They're behind you. Just watch them. They will be behind you. I don't keep any roosters that stand behind me and watch at me. I'm like, you better take your little butt and bring it over here where I can see you, because if you keep standing behind me, you're gone, buddy, because I know what you're gonna do.
I wouldn't go stand behind a grizzly bear.
Exactly.
And check it out. Hey, what's going on?
And attack it from behind, and then run. As soon as they hit you, they run, and then it's walk. You know, it's like, what the heck are you doing, dude? You know, like trying to make it out like I'm the one that caused the scene,
right.
I'll walk in the coop and I'll have to go grab one of the girls to do something, and my head rooster, because I mean, I have.
You're always gonna have an alpha rooster.
You gotta have. You'll have your alphas. Right. So my alpha rooster, he'll start doing that. You know, letting all the girls know he's not happy. You know, he'll start like, you know, not the real crow, just the, you know, everybody duck and cover crow. Something's up. Yeah. And I'll turn around, look at him, and I'm like, are you seriously? are you giving me this? Like, I need to take care of something. She hurt her foot. Like, and I'll like get up in his face and he'll be like, oh shoot, I wasn't talking to you. I wasn't talking to you. I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing, Mom. I'm like, yeah, dial it back, buddy. Don't be telling all the girls to be on guard when I walk in.
I know, because what that does is when they do that, I have noticed when we've had just hens and no roosters, the hens are so much easier to take care of and deal with, right? Yeah. When you get that rooster, that one rooster that's like, hey, something's up. Everybody run in the house, right?
Danger. Yeah.
Yeah, they all run in the coop and they all start hiding and stuff. And it's like, do we have to do this? Everybody knows I'm just in here to grab you, put some blue coat on your
I'm the maintenance man. Yeah, for the animals, I'm the maintenance man. I bring in the food in the morning. I'm filling up your water.
Yeah,
I'm just here to do maintenance. I'm the maintenance man. Checking everything's good.
I'm walking in there, woke up to me like, what's going on? What are you doing today?
Right. You know,
but see, I can walk in and pick ones out. I'll be like this one, and then sometimes they never come back.
Right.
So because that's when I pick up the roosters and I'm like, you're a jerk. You're gone.
Yeah.
Or I'll just pick the girls up, and sometimes I'll pick up one of my favorite roosters, bring him aside, stick him on the table and just feed him cheese. And he'll go back out there and tell everybody, I got cheese. You didn't get nothing.
That's funny.
So they don't know where I'm coming from.
Right. Yeah. I just do maintenance.
Yeah. You're just a maintenance guy.
Right. Hey, could you fill up that water while you're here? That's what the chickens are saying.
Right.
You freshen up that water if you don't mind.
My wife has really gotten into the Polish and the
we got some Polish.
Necks
the
showgirls, right?
Yeah.
And man, we have, oh gosh, I don't even know. I bet you in the past year we've went through close to 500 or 600 of these birds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's just like, either the color's wrong or you get a batch of them and half the batch dies, right? So you got to go buy all those colors again. Yeah. Oh my goodness, man.
Yeah.
And Polish are very hard when they're young to keep alive.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, when we first got them, oh my gosh, I think I lost 50% of those Polish. Yeah. And they scream as babies in the brood.
Yeah, if you're ever in the area and you want some Polish, you can have ours.
I got some white.
They're black and white. They're always
Polish
screaming. They're always loud. Loud. Their eggs are like worthless. Their eggs are worthless, and they're just loud.
Yep. There's nothing to it. The only reason why she wants them is because those are very, very hard to get in West Virginia.
Okay.
Oh, are they? Okay.
The Polish, the naked necks, and the showgirls are the three breeds that are just anytime that Rural King has them, they're gone within just a couple hours.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
But nobody sells them. Nobody has them.
Right.
No one's breeding them in the area.
Right. So
hello, you could like $25 a chick if you breed those out.
Right, exactly. So she's like, hey, this is what we want to do. So I'm like, all right, well, that one's got to go. And I'm out there in the yard yesterday talking about, well, all these got to go because we got a whole bunch of these. And she just bought, hey, honey.
She's not going to tell you the truth.
Oh, probably not. That's a lot. Hey, hush.
5. I said 5.
So I'll ask her in a second. I don't know where she's at, but she bought a bunch of them, and they're supposed to be here at like July, right?
Okay.
Oh, yeah. And she's like, yeah, well, we need to get this out of here and this out of here and this out of here. And I'm like, what did you do? We've got some chicks coming. We've had chicks come along. This sounds like a lot of chicks. How many Polish did you buy? 24. You kind of took a while to say that.
Really fitting.
Probably like 10. It was a 10 minimum. It was 10 minimum.
Right. Yeah.
They were doing 25 minimum that day.
I'll tell you what I do. I was at Atwood's.
Yeah, we go to Atwood's for seed.
It's kind of like a Rural King for us.
Yeah.
And there were some buff Brahmas in with some gold lace Wyandottes.
Yeah.
And there was only 2 left in there. And so I'm like, well, you can't just leave these 2 little buff Brahmas by themselves. I'm like, I'll take those 2 buff Brahmas. And then I told the kid, I was like, what's your minimum? He's like, we don't have a minimum. I'm like, no, you could say the minimum's 4. So he comes over and I'm like, what's the minimum? He's like, 4. It's 4. You need 4. I'm like, okay, I'll take those 2 buff Brahmas, and I'm going to take 2 of those gold lace Wyandottes that are sitting with them, because I mean, we got to get 4 in the box to bring home.
4.
Right. But that's cool though that they don't have a minimum, because there's a bunch of times when we don't need a minimum, right? Like we just need like a couple of them, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And Royal King, I think, is 6 of them or something like that.
Yeah. Tractor Supply by us is a minimum of 4.
Yeah. Some places do a minimum. Yeah. I don't think Atwoods does. Atwoods doesn't do a minimum. I get it. Like if you don't have chickens and you buy 1 bird,
they want to stop people from buying one
chicken or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But here's the problem though. Like the reason why I say it's kind of an issue though is because if you say you bought I don't know, like 10 Polish today, right?
Yeah.
And 5 of them die. Okay.
Right.
The next time, like a week later, when they get them in, right, you only need to replace. You're like, okay, well, the 5 I got left are good and living. I only want to try out another 1 or 2 of these. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, because you already got them established at home.
You've already got them, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But if you try to do that, they're like, oh, well, you got to buy 6. Well, you know, I just bought 10.
Right, I have chickens at home.
Right.
Yeah. And just sell me 1, dude.
Right. Especially if they have a color variant, right? Like,
you
know, sometimes they'll get Polish that are the white tops, you know, and they'll be black or whatever, and then they'll get the creams or whatever. What are they called?
Yeah.
Fawn or. She's thinking that.
Me too fast.
But anyways, buff. And they'll have
the buff,
right. And they'll have those, and then you're like, well, you know, I got these. I just want to try one of them buffs. And well, you got to buy 6. You know, it's the same thing with pheasants. We just bought melanistic pheasants, melanistic ring-necked pheasants, and you know, there was a minimum of 4 of them, right? A minimum of 2 of them. Oh wow, that's crazy. So there was a minimum of 2 of those melanistic pheasants, but
2 on any wild game.
Oh,
the ducks.
Okay. So wild game, ducks, and geese, you can buy 2 of them. Chickens got to buy 6.
Okay.
What's that make? You know,
right. It doesn't make any sense.
Right. So, but we, you know, whenever we bought those, like if one die, like let's say one dies, and like today, and you got 24 hours to get a replacement of it, right? But you didn't get up there to get the replacement or call them or whatever, or maybe it dies on the 2nd day, right? And you just want to go up there and get one to replace the one that died.
Right.
That's kind of where I think having that minimum, that no minimum works out.
Helps out.
Especially with those bigger or more exotic ones. Like you might not want to have 6 geese.
Right, exactly.
I mean, they're big birds.
Very big birds, and they honk a lot when they get older. My goodness.
I'm done. I'm done with ducks and geese. I'm done with that.
I wanted geese until I found out that they're only going to be real nice to
one person.
You
know what though? They don't do any. They don't bother us.
They're not mean to.
I take it back. They don't like the kids now.
Right.
Okay.
They're not going to like somebody.
The kids were great, but I will to the goose's defense, the geese's defense. When the kids were little and they got big enough that the geese didn't want held anymore, you know, when they were goslings, that the kids would chase after them to want to hold them.
Yeah.
Right. And then as the geese got bigger, they're like, you wanna what's that, right? You wanna chase
don't mess with geese.
Right. So,
you want some of this?
And then the geese started chasing the kids, but the geese didn't want to be. The geese didn't want to hold the kids; they just wanted to bite them.
Right.
So, I mean, geese though. I mean, they're really good about protecting. You know, from what I've seen, they do a good job of that. They're a good alarm system too. Anything comes out there, it don't matter if it's a mouse or raccoon or what, you're going to know that something's out there. Because I mean, they are very loud. They'll wake you up out of your sleep. You know, they're when they get to make a noise in the middle of the night, you know something's up, and you better go out there and check. I like them for that reason. Plus, and hawks, they're good about getting everybody on alert when hawks are. In fact, I've not had any hawks land in the yard since we've gotten them.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
That is pretty
cool. They
cool.
must be afraid of them then.
Right.
I don't know if they're afraid of them
or
we get a lot of hawks.
So loud.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's that or they're scared of them, but I know when that bird raises its wings out, you know, and that wing's 4 foot
They're pretty
Yeah.
big.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
that's
pretty
scary.
big. Yeah.
That looks like a big bird, you know.
Right,
So
right.
maybe the hawks are scared of them.
Right. Don't want to deal with it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but they do really good around here. So maybe if you got a lot of hawks, maybe you might want to get one.
We have a lot of hawks. Yeah, we do. I mean, I bet if I could probably look outside and see hawks.
I'm like, there's room
right
out
now.
there for that. There's room out there for another
Right.
thing.
She's room for a geese pen.
Right.
She already wants another pig pen. I just built a turkey coop, and we want to do. She wants another pig pen.
My wife said you sound like her.
Yeah.
Here's my thing.
There's still room over there, right? There's still room over there.
The coonies got their area. You know, I don't want to mess them up, and I want to raise my feeder pigs.
Right.
When we raise the feeder pigs, we raise them out free feed with you know, the feeders that they can eat all the time.
Right.
So I want them to have a separate pen.
Yeah.
Now we have these.
Oh, quail.
Oh, you got quail?
Yeah. Quail eggs. Yeah. Okay, we haven't got quail yet.
Now our quails are starting to lay eggs.
Okay.
So it's time to put these in the incubator and start hatching these out.
Interesting. Okay.
Are you gonna be selling them as, you know, as birds, or are you gonna sell as chicks? Are you okay?
I don't know yet.
Or as eggs?
We got 3 breeding pairs.
Okay.
And so I'm not, and they're not the normal quarter necks or whatever they're called. Courtnicks. They're all, different colors, like special colors or whatever. Not that I care, but they're just, you know, I guess. So I don't really know.
But your wife cares. It's important.
No, it is. But I don't know. I mean, have we even thought about that? Do we even know what we want to do with them? I want to eat it. Of course, I want to eat everything.
Right. That's what they're there for.
You got to try it.
Right. You know, I want to eat everything, you know, and they're one of the fastest turnarounds and one of the cheapest to raise. You know what I mean? I think 6 or 8 weeks they're ready to breed. And I think
wow.
It's 6 or 8 weeks that they start breeding and laying eggs. So super quick laying. You know, in fact, quail eggs, from what I read, have some of the most nutritional eggs, you know, that you could actually eat. They're just a little bit smaller, you know what I mean? But I don't know if we're going to, I know I need more of them. I know 3 breeding pairs.
Right. Those sound like rookie numbers.
Yeah.
You got to throw a zero. Throw a zero behind that.
Right. But I will say this: if the quail do better, I will probably get rid of every chicken except for her Polish naked necks and showgirl.
My heart.
You just need another coop.
I'll probably keep all those.
You got to keep the silkies. They're your sitting mamas.
Yeah, because I got coachins. I've got coachins. I like coachins. And I got coachins and I got millies. Those are my projects. But
yeah, he's a millie. That's our little pomegranate chicken out there.
Is it okay? Okay, yeah, we have one of those.
I got serramas too. I got serramas. Those are the littlest chicken in the world, right?
Yeah, but they're all, you know.
Yeah.
They look like they got a lot of attitude with their little chests out and their wings back.
They're so sweet. I think she went in there to go get a couple of them. But I'll probably get rid of all the big ones, like the production reds, the Americanas, all that stuff. And I'll probably only keep, you know, if the quail do well, you know, that's probably what I'll do, because I only need X amount to hatch and I only need X amount to eat. You know what I mean?
See, like the production reds and the Americanas, the Easter eggers, that's what I consider my small chickens in my coop right now.
Yeah. Right.
You know, my Wyandottes are from breeders. So my Wyandottes the hens are coming in at like 12 pounds. And my Brahmas are all 15 to 20 to 25 pounds. So yeah, I mean, I got big mama chickens.
That's super cute.
This is a very rare chicken that she lucked up and got in a assorted. But it was a mix of. It was assorted bantams. Yeah, assorted bantams is what it was called at Royal King, and it happened to be frizzled buff cochins.
You got frizzled, yeah.
Yeah, it was a frizzled.
It's about a week old because it's just got some wing feathers?
No, this is things like a month.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's taking forever to feather out.
Very slow growing. Very slow. But it's a true bantam. It's a frizzle.
That's cute.
Very rare, right?
Yeah.
And so like our neighbor shows birds and shows goats.
Yeah.
Highly knowledgeable guy about, you know, birds and stuff. And he said, y'all hit the jackpot.
Yeah, every once in a while something slips in there.
Right. I think it's because the big hatcheries have to meet their quotas for sales, and they'll slip something in there that maybe they wouldn't normally give up. Right. They probably, especially if they're selling to Rural King, they're selling to Tractor Supply, Atwoods, they probably have to deliver a certain number of birds.
Yeah, that's how I got my show line of buff Brahmas.
Yeah, is they've got to meet quotas.
Yeah, their width and like their forward stance and the length of body was just perfect for show.
Yeah,
and you just don't see that. And hatchery, they got that big U shape in the back, but these girls were just like long and like a nice little ease of their cushion feathers and stuff. I mean, they looked great.
Yeah. This here's my prize. Well, he's got a bad leg, so we bought frizzled Sarama eggs.
He's frizzled.
Look at that.
And we hatched these out. And
what's your wife's name?
Annie.
Annie, hello, Annie.
Hi, Annie.
We can kind of see you there. Hello.
She don't like YouTube.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is a frizzle. His leg was messed up when he was born.
Mm-hmm.
And we tried to fix it. He can't really walk. It's that leg right there. It literally grew like an S.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, inside the shell. So he can't walk very good, but we got 2 of them. Those really, I did videos on them. We had to get 2 sets of eggs because the first set of eggs that we bought, they did not. I ended up cracking all the eggs because none of them really started. And when I cracked them open, inside you have the egg of the egg. You got the yolk, and then you got a blood dot on the yolk, right?
Right.
So, excuse me, I can't remember the exact terms for it right now, but if the egg is always going to have a blood dot in it, but the difference is if that blood dot is the size of a pin, or if it's the size of a little bit bigger than the head of a pin, right? So if it's like the size of a pin or under, the egg was not fertilized. If it's bigger than the head of a pin, it was fertilized, and it's like derma something or another. Dermaplast, I think something like dermablast and something else. The blastodisc, that's what it is. The blastodisc and dermablast. So, anyways, I think I got it right. But anyhow, I checked all those eggs the first time, and I was like, I told the guys, like, look, man, these didn't work out. I'm trying to do a YouTube video hatching these eggs out and stuff. And, what can you send me some new eggs, and I'll, be glad to pay the shipping or whatever. So he's like, yeah. So ended up getting some more. I think roughly half of those were detached from shipping. And stuff. So they ended up not doing well. And then out of those, I think 4 hatched, 2 survived. And we just haven't got any more because we've been busy with other stuff. But those Saramas, I mean, they're great little chickens. They're not mean. The Saramas, the Cochins, the Millies, they're very calm, docile. They're friendly. They don't lay a lot of eggs, but if you get the right colors and you get the, good lines, or good color, either or, you can make good money with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because people pay for those Millies.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, they will.
Absolutely. Yep. And
we got one. She's got a little attitude, man. She's like, I say she's like 4 ounces of sass, you know?
Right. Yeah. She has her own perch in the coop.
We built her own perch.
She has her own perch.
Way high up in the corner.
And she goes up there, and it's close enough to the ceiling no one else can get in there.
And I bought her like a little old Dutch Phantom. You know, I thought maybe she'd want a friend. She don't want any friends. Yeah. She want nothing.
Yeah.
She just wants to sit on her own little perch and be left alone.
That's funny. That's very funny because mine are very social.
Are they? Okay.
I mean, they want to be around their boys. You know what I mean? They will find those Millie roosters. Because I got to a point where I was just like, look, I need to get my Cochins in here and get them breeding. I got 8 roosters and 3 hens on these Millies, and I can't get the roosters. Nobody wanted any of them. I mean, they just no, I don't want it. You know,
right.
And
I mean, he's what, like 4 ounces? Come on, he's not going to do nothing. Just throw him in there. He probably eats a teaspoon of food a day.
Exactly, and they're cute. Yeah, and they
they're cute.
Oh man, when they crow, they're fun. But nobody wanted them, so I set all of them out of my breeding cage that I had. Well, it's not a cage. It's a a house and a pen all in one.
Mm-hmm.
Then he, put them out of there and put the coachings in, and I just let them run out with the big chickens. Well, now I've got Millie everything. I've got Millie Americana. I've got Millie.
Right.
I mean, Millie everything. And I'm sitting there going, that's kind of cool. I'd like to work on that. And then I got to looking. There's an actual Facebook group for Millie Millie Silky Crosses.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Facebook group for them. And people are paying a lot of money for those Millie Silky Crosses.
Oh, wow. See, like, we call that a barnyard mix, but they're calling it something special. You might as well make some money off of it.
Right. Exactly. And it is a cool looking chicken because 50% of the time it will come out silky, like look like a silky, right?
Okay, well, that's kind of cool.
It'll have the feathers of the Millie.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's got the top knot,
Right, it's got the top and the poof, but it's got the pretty penciling of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And actual feathers instead of silk, right? So
Right.
I mean, it looks great, and then the other half of the time, it comes out looking like a Millie.
Sorry, dogs just got excited about nothing.
You're good. But
they just want to make sure everybody knew.
It'll come out looking like a Millie with silky fur on it,
Nice.
So very, very cool. And then have a comb, an actual comb on it, So I mean, and then the color variations and stuff are really cool. So that was kind of like a little project that we were doing.
Oh yeah, when you start mixing genetics like that, it's fun to see what you can get. Like last year, I had some Easter eggers, and I was like, what if I'm like, yeah, this will work. I'm going to take my blue eggs and my Easter eggers, and I'm going to cross that with my Brahma rooster because that's a brown egg, and I'm going to make me some olive eggers. And I did. So now I have olive eggers from that. Right. But
this is a puffy cheek girls.
It's a puffy, right.
Right. So they look really cool.
They're white, just like a light Brahma
with big puffy cheeks.
Which are Americana flu fats on
right,
it.
Yeah, big puffy cheek girls.
Yeah. So then I told him this year, I'm like, okay, well, I'm done. I was done.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, actually, I'm not done because I only have first generation olive eggers. I need to go F2 olive eggers now. And he's like, no, you're done.
That's next year. That's next year. We got to save some for next year.
I'm like, okay, next year I'll start working on the olive egger project next year.
But it is fun.
There's something to look forward to. Yeah.
Because I was working with Americanas, crossing the Americanas with the production reds. I wanted to get the Americana comb. Okay. Because here our chickens, if they got a big comb, they're going to get frostbite. Okay.
So you're looking for the rose comb, yeah.
Right. Looking for that rose comb, that little to no comb. Okay. Mm-hmm. But wanted to get that production of the production red. Right. Yeah. And it threw some amazing colors, big, beautiful chickens and stuff. And we're getting nice eggs right now. So I'm on F1s of those right now. Right.
Okay.
Well, no, excuse me. F2s. We're on F2s of them. And so we're going to see how this F3 looks. I think by F5.
Yeah, like, can you get it to like camo? I want to get mine to like camo color.
Eggs.
Yeah, right. Super dark green camo.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that would be the best thing ever. If you could get a super dark green egg, the color of a French copper marron.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it being dark instead of dark brown, be dark green.
Dark green. Right. Deep dark.
Well, see, now I have a rooster that I crossed, and I absolutely love Pedro. His mom was a black copper Marin.
Yeah.
And his dad was
a jumbo white Brahma.
A jumbo show rooster of a white, light Brahma.
Yeah.
And he turned out all black, with white hackles with a black stripe in it. Yeah. His saddle is white with black penciling through it.
Yeah.
But then the tips of his wings has like this like copper sheen to it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
when he hits the light, he turns iridescent purple.
Yeah.
That's cool.
He's
really so beautiful. And I kept him, and he's like top rooster now.
He's the top rooster.
I actually had to pull him for a month into my breeding pen to get him out so I could actually do my color project, because, you know, he's the one that's, you know,
right. He's alpha.
He's alpha. He's getting with all the girls.
We had certain genetics we were trying to hatch out, and he wasn't part of it.
Right.
So we just put him in a kind of a separate coop,
I want to take him because he's so dark that I know that he's carrying most of the black copper Marin genetics with him, and I want to take him and put him on those F1 olive eggers because he carries that super dark gene and I want to see how dark I can get my olive eggers, my F2s to be if I made them with him.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So but you're talking about the color of the chicken on the feathers or the egg though?
The egg.
Okay.
So he is like, because my olive eggers that I have now, they're doing like they're like a spearmint green of a color. Yeah. Like I started with the blue and I got like a spearmint green. So now I want to cross them with him because he's carrying the black copper Marin gene of egg color. So he should come in with that dark brown. And anytime you do dark brown with a green, that's when you're going to get your deeper shades of olive in your genetics.
Yeah. That would be very, very cool. That would be very cool.
Yeah, because those are the best ones to breed with. If you can actually get like any kind of Marin, it doesn't matter if it's a black copper or midnight or whatever it is.
Right.
Rooster with one of your olive eggers. Okay. That's going to give you the richest color.
Yeah. Okay. Now I wonder if it will work with sapphire gems because they lay a pretty.
No, sapphire gems do not breed true.
Do they not?
No, they don't breed true because they're a cross. Yeah. Okay. They're kind of like your production red roosters. Your production red roosters won't breed true either, and that's how a sapphire gem is.
Right. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's good stuff to know too, because well, I mean, that's why the color variations is so different then on these production red Americanas.
Yes.
Because
production reds that's a combination usually of like a production that's usually like a white Rhode Island red or like a white
Leghorn.
No, they'll do Rhode Island whites with a Rhode Island red, and they'll cross that to give you your production red.
Yeah. Okay.
And so they won't but the males and females aren't going to breed true. Just like a black sex link, if you have a black sex link, they're not going to breed true either. Yeah. You know, just because they're crosses. Yeah. And they're not the old school established crosses. Like Wyandottes came out of Brahmas, but that was like 1700s that they came up with that. And they figured out how to consistently cross that till it bred true. And then they got a Wyandotte. And then that Wyandotte can now breed true. But anything that is like a black star, brown star, red sex link, production red, none of those breed true. Your sapphire gem doesn't breed true. There's a couple other ones that the golden comets, those aren't going to. If you see golden comets, a golden comet is just a brown sex link. Yeah. You know, that's not going to breed true either. Your Isa Browns, that's a sex link. That's not going to breed true either. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, that's good information because, you know, I knew some of them were crosses, but I knew a production red was a cross, but I didn't know. No. I really didn't think I just thought it was a cross that had been stabilized. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, they have not been. They have not been stabilized. In order for them to get a production red, they need to every single time cross that white with that red. Okay. Just like a black sex link. Like I'll breed out black sex links because I like the girls because they lay the eggs hard and fast for 2 years. You know, you can't beat it. Right. Those black sex links, they'll give you an extra large dark egg, and it's nice. But in order to get a black sex link, you always have to breed a barred female. So it either has to be a Coco Marin, a Dominique, or a barred rock hen, and it has to be a solid colored rooster. Okay. So it could be a Rhode Island red, and that's when you get those black sex links that maybe have a little copper that's right here. Right. That was probably bred with the Rhode Island red rooster that's solid. Or you could you could breed them with like a lavender Orpington if you want to, and then you'll probably get a really pretty all black one female with like a little like blue feathering right here. Okay. So, and the girls of those black sex links will always come out all black as a baby. The boys are going to come out all black with a white dot on the top of their head. Okay. That's when you know it's a boy. And the boy is always going to feather out barred. So it's going to look like, you know, either that barring of a barred rock or the wider barring of like a Dominique or Coco Marin. Right. And the girls are going to have, you know, just be black. So you know when they're born, if it's a boy, if it has a white dot, if it's a girl, it doesn't. Right. But you always have to have those two things. If you try to take a black sex link female and you try to mate it with a black sex link male, you have absolutely no idea what you're getting. You got two mutts and genetics come together, and this one can go that way and that one can go that way. You just don't know how they match.
Right. That is so that is just so interesting though.
I've done like a couple videos on it, but honestly, most people don't want like chicken genetics videos like that.
Yeah, we've done videos on this. Yeah, we had some videos on
They're just like, you know,
some of our chicken.
How can I tell at the store what I'm buying?
Right. It's very interesting because you can to get a sex link, you know, I always just thought, well, okay, that's a black sex link. That's the, you know, a red sex links, whatever. Sex link just mean I can tell what it is when it's born. You know?
Can.
Yes.
Right. And then like, I literally just was just like, oh, that's all that is. But now I'm learning that you can take a Copper Maron, a Dominique, or a Wyandotte, and either any of those three, right, and make a black sex link out of it.
Not the Wyandotte because they're penciled. Okay. So they're not considered a solid color rooster. Okay. So because of their penciling on their feathers, they wouldn't be considered solid color. But you can take any Orpington. You can take a white leghorn if you want to. And, you know, so you have to, something that is going to be like the center of their body, their center mass is going to be one solid color. That would be considered a solid color rooster. So any barred female and any male that's a solid color, and you will get yourself a black sex link.
That is just so interesting. That's
you can get your own.
Yeah. I mean,
we've been hatching them all year.
I've been hatching them all year. Yeah.
I mean, and then you can sell them, and people are like, because again,
people
don't know this, and they're gonna be like, hey, he's got black sex links for it's cheap, you know, I mean, like
you can make your own brown sex links. You can make your own. I mean, you could call it Heavenly Hills Buffs, and that can be what you consider your brown sex link. Just like Golden Comets, Isa Browns, all those things. Those are all gold sex links. Right. It's just the hatchery decided to give it a name.
That is so
you can make your own.
Yeah, that is so cool. I like that. That's a good idea. So I mean, wow. What else
we can talk more. I can tell you about genetics.
She loves talking chicken. She'll talk chicken all night.
I'll teach you how to make your sex links red and buff and black, and then you can give them a name and you can sell them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You and my wife's gonna have to talk because y'all. I mean.
Oh yeah,
sure.
I mean, we all love chickens, but man, you two would be best friends, talk because she loves.
I love chicken.
She loves talking.
Did you see my arm? Did you see how much I love chicken?
She'll be buying chickens, and people are like, look at her tattoo. I think she knows about chickens.
I'll be talking, and they're like, ask that lady. She's got a chicken tattoo.
Right, she's got a giant chicken tattooed on her arm. Right, she's got the chicken tattoo. That must mean something.
Right. One lady, I'm like, I don't know anything about chickens. And she just started laughing at me. I'm like, okay, what do you want to know?
That is
you got our email. I mean, we both checked that email account. It's all a shared account. So I mean, definitely.
Yeah. I can send you info.
Because I mean that's awesome stuff. I mean, I'm very fascinated about that kind of stuff, you know, because I think in order for us to become better homesteaders, breeders, whatever we're going to be, you know, like knowledge is power, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You got to know this stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
And here I am, just kind of like, oh yeah, those are just chickens. Them sex links have been around forever, you know. And now
they're fairly new. Well, there's auto sexing, and then there's sex links, and sex links are the ones that you can create from these two very specific things to make your sex link. Then there's auto sexing breeds. You know, there's breeds of chicken that you know that the moment that they're born, like a boy is going to be like a light color, and then like the female of it is going to be a lot darker, like have a lot darker of a stripe down the back. You could tell, and even in Rhode Island Reds, you could tell what's going to be a boy and a girl by how much deep reddish they have on their back compared to the other. And that's, those are the ones that are considered auto-sexing, because then, when they're born, they're going to carry different variations in color on their little baby fluff.
Oh, sorry. You had to yawn there for a second. No, that is cool.
I like to research a lot.
She does the chicken stuff. She's into chickens.
No, I love chickens.
That's just awesome. So outside of chicken knowledge, what else do you guys? What else do you guys know about? Because I'm like, hey, feed me more. I want to know more.
Right.
What else are you guys got any plans? You already said you did the ducks. You're not doing those anymore. You did the pigs and stuff. What about emus?
Oh man!
Don't get her started on emus. She's gonna be out having me buy chain link fences to set up the emus.
Oh my god, I want some so
she wants
bad.
I begged my wife.
She wants
emus. Buy the egg and let's just do videos.
No, let's just hatch it ourselves.
All right, see what happens. Like, she wants emus.
What are you going to do when it hatches? I said, there's plenty of people that would buy it.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And then she's like,
wink, wink.
I showed her a video of a chick, right? And she's like, and you expect me to get rid of that?
Right, exactly. No,
it's like she's like, you're trying to trick me.
Right, exactly.
We were actually
we'll just sell it when it's born.
we were at a poultry thing, and they were selling emus. They were selling them. They were there, $500 a baby.
What?
$500 a baby. And we're rural Texas, so I mean our prices are lower. So I feel like they'd be a lot more somewhere else.
Right.
Oh, sorry. I don't know why.
I bet they taste delicious, though. I mean, because ostrich is really good.
I guarantee that they probably taste similar to a turkey, I would say, right?
Well, now ostrich is red meat.
Yeah, I've had ostrich.
So I've had like ostrich filet, and that's like the best filet mignon you'll ever have in your life. Is an ostrich filet. Yes, it's like butter.
Where do you get them at?
I was in Dallas. I had it at Turtle Creek in Dallas.
All right,
it was good, but I'm assuming that emus probably are closer to ostrich, and it's a red meat.
Right,
it might be.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's anybody that's ever ate one.
Ostrich?
No,
or emu. I'm sure someone's eaten an emu.
I'll have to ask some of my Aussie friends.
Yeah. When I lived up in Washington, I was down the street from an ostrich farm. And you could just go there and buy the meat.
Yeah,
so if you've got an ostrich farm around, you just buy an ostrich steak.
Ostrich steak?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know they said the eggs weren't any good. I know some people said
I've never had the eggs. I don't know. I mean, it's like having 2 dozen eggs at one time. Yeah.
So I've seen though for the chicks for $325 emu chicks.
Okay.
So I've seen those online, but then you got to pay for shipping or whatever. But the eggs is probably what I would rather. You can get the eggs for as low as $80. I've seen.
If you got an incubator though, yeah, they're not going to fit in a chicken incubator. You got to have the incubator.
I think they fit in mine.
Depends on what you got. I got the Harvest Right 360. I don't think it would fit in mine.
Right.
No,
mine's too short.
Yeah, you'd have to have something serious.
I need something bigger.
Something industrial.
Right.
This is 120 egg incubator.
Okay. We got little 20 eggers. Yeah.
He keeps me on the low end.
We got 2 20s. We got 2 20ers.
No.
He keeps me on the low end, man.
Right. That's rookie numbers.
Yeah.
This
is how he keeps me from not incubating that much.
Right. I got the 120 egg, and then I got that 48 egger, and then I got one of the cheap styrofoam ones in there that can do, like, if you take oh goodness, that one don't have an egg turner. That's right. So I don't have to take the egg turner out. But if you just lay all the eggs in there flat, I could fit 75 eggs in there.
Nice. Yeah. If it was up to me, I'd have one of those ones that stack that are like you stand
the industrial
up.
ones.
Like they had those at the poultry place. You could put like 15 rows in there.
Right. That's what I got.
It looks like the bread oven from Subway. That's what it looks like. That's
I'm seeing if there's any chicks in here. Because there was some hatching. No, ain't none in there right now. But I did have some hatching there. She's probably moved them all out. But yeah, that's a double decker, the one that the 120 one is.
Nice.
And it does really good. It's got rollers in there to turn the eggs.
Okay, that's
You
nice.
can move the rollers to fit whatever egg size you got.
Oh, that's good. So you could do your duck eggs and turkey eggs probably and stuff in there. Yeah.
So I think it would fit in there. The 40.
I think you should see. I think this would be brilliant. You should see.
I do too. You're gonna have to tell my wife. She won't let me know.
Gotta get you an email.
I think it's an experiment,
right?
If nothing else.
Hey, like I said, if you don't want it, you can sell it. There's plenty of people that will buy it.
I'm sure.
Right.
If you hatch it out, I guarantee. Like, because I told her, I said, do you know we could do just a business of that? Buying eggs for $80 to $125, hatching them out, selling them for $300 to $400 a pop. Right. I was like, we just do that for just a business.
Flip
I
it.
was like, flip it. Exactly.
Emu flipper.
Yeah. You could be an emu flipper. Yeah. I think this feels like a TLC show or something.
Could be, right.
But yeah, I mean, you could do that. I mean, essentially, that's what you would have. You wouldn't incur any of the cost of the animal itself, just the cost of the egg.
Right. No overhead.
Right.
And I mean, essentially, let's think about this. If you did that with eggs, let's say you wanted to raise chickens, but you didn't want to raise them yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if you knew local farmers close by had roosters and hens together of whatever breed you're looking for, you could go in there and buy those eggs at whatever they want per dozen. Because a lot of these farmers are going to sell them $2 to $3, $4 a dozen, $5 a whatever, right?
Right.
Buy the dozen, bring them home, stick them in an incubator, hatch them out.
Yeah.
Then you've got all these different chicks. You can sell all these different chicks.
Right.
So I mean, and you would only have the 12 eggs or whatever you're buying for your overhead. You have no feed costs, no animal care, none of that stuff.
Right.
I mean, you could probably do pretty decent with that.
You could squeeze by.
If you got a good hatch rate, you know, and if you can get them fresh, because you know, if your eggs are more than 7 days old, then they start going down on fertilization.
They do. And a way to help pick up on that is to keep them in egg cartons and every day flip the egg carton.
Oh, okay.
So your air sac doesn't start moving off.
Right. You just move that egg carton every day. It'll help with that. Because see, like whenever we got these jam packed, the hens don't quit. You know, they just keep laying. You know? So we have at least 21 days where eggs pile up on us, right? And so what we've learned is that it helped keep that hatch rate up because it does go down. It does. It goes down. Like you might get them to start, but to get them to finish,
it goes down pretty
tough.
quick.
Yeah, that's when you're like, man, you're at like 2 weeks, and you're like, this baby's gonna make it, and then all of a sudden it doesn't. You know,
exactly. So what we've learned is if you keep them in the cartons and flip those cartons every day, that it helps with that increasing and stuff. And it keeps them off from laying on their side, you know what I mean? And then them trying to adhere to one side and stuff. It does help some. It's not the cure all, you know. But it does help. Some people have mentioned keeping it in an even cooler place, not refrigerator cool, but like, you know, if you got a cool area that's cool in the wintertime or, you know, beside a vent that in the summertime, you keep it beside there and
to kind of stop the incubation process from starting.
Right. So, you know, we've tried that out, and it helps a little bit too. I think humidity is a bigger issue though than any of it. You know, I think having the proper humidity, keeping those.
Have you seen I've seen on YouTube, a lot of people are talking about dry hatching. You know, and I mean, honestly, I see a lot of stuff on YouTube that I think to myself, this is BS. Like you guys have not tried this or you're faking it because there's a lot of stuff that you're like, there's no way. Like,
yeah, it's not real.
That's not real. But people are talking about this dry hatching method where they're keeping their humidity 30% or lower just based on the ambient humidity in their room. They are never adding water to their incubator, and they are claiming that they're getting a hatch. And I'm just, it's blowing my mind because I mean, that was the last 3 days of lockdown. You know, you're bringing up your humidity so it needs to be moist so they don't get shrink wrapped in that egg. But these people are claiming that they get a great hatch rate.
Well, that don't make sense because you have to have lockdown for those 3 to 4 days prior to that egg hatching. And if you lift that incubator lid up and it pops, I've watched the eggs suck down on top of it.
Right. They will shrink. Right. They'll just shrink wrap that baby.
Yeah.
But like I've seen a couple things show up in my news feed and I'm like, are these people for real? Like, is this real or is this just another YouTube BS thing that they're putting out there?
Yeah.
I guess to be fair, I don't really believe I don't have a lot of trust or whatever you want to call it in electro culture. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying it can't work or it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of leery of things like that. Right. Like, you stick this copper rod in the ground all of a sudden.
Right.
All of a sudden, poof, harvest.
Right. But there's a lot of YouTubers who are pushing it. Big YouTubers, big channels, huge channels.
Right, yeah, with these copper rods in the ground and the little twists, or just a rod with like copper twisted.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what it's.
I'm going to do that this summer. In fact, that's a video that we've been working on today. Is putting these copper rods beside tomato plants, beside other plants, and saying, okay, look, everything's the same about these.
Right.
Right. The only difference is a copper rod. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's see what happens, right? I guess to be fair, the only way to say yay or nay on this is to kind of do it. Right. And show it. I do think that there are a lot of people who see a trend and they're like, that's trending. I want a trend. I want to grow my channel. Let's just do it. We'll say it works. It gets me views. It gets people here. Right. I believe that happens a lot. I do. I really do.
Yeah.
But I believe transparency will grow us. We might not grow as fast, but we'll keep who we have. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
And ethically, you know who you are and you're not BSing people. And that's what it's about. You know, I don't want to put anything out there that I don't know really works. You know, sometimes Daniel will be like, do a video on that. I'm like, I'm not comfortable with it because I don't know enough about it yet.
Yeah.
You know, I just.
Well, it's like me and Travis Key was talking from Lazy Dog Farm. You know, I was on here, me and him was talking. I said, you know, people look at us, if we're on YouTube, people look at us like we are a authoritative figure in whatever genre we're in, whether it's homesteading or, you know, within the homesteading community, whether it's gardening, chickens, pigs, whatever. If we're posting stuff on that, people look at us like, okay, you're an expert, right? You know, you're making a video on this.
Right.
But a lot of bad information and a lot of bad
people
things,
don't.
come across because people are only on for trend setting, right?
Yeah.
As long as it's trending, I'm going to do this because I can grow my channel. And they've left the ethics part out of it, right? And that's not, you know, it'll get you views, it'll get you subscribers, but that shouldn't be the ultimate goal. Your ultimate goal should be putting out good content that is legit content, you know what I mean? And really does work. And because, like I said, people are going to look at you like, you know what you're talking about, right? Like you're an expert. You see, I put a cover on. I mean, it could very well. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't work, you know, but there's so many. How do you test that? So, like my buddy, I don't know if you guys have ever watched Lazy Dog Farm.
No, never heard of it.
Pretty big YouTuber. He used to work at Haas Tools with his dad, and they have a big following as well at Haas Tools. But anyhow, you know, we were talking about how you would measure this and stuff. And there is a couple videos out there that have people who hook batteries up to electric rods beside plants, right? And they would give it a jolt every so often. The plant would jump, you know, in growth, but it would plateau fast. It would come up and then plateau. While the other ones that had nothing on them were just steady growth, right? So I think that is a pretty sound experiment that was done, right? Yeah. Of course, people will say, well, he was jolting it with a battery, you know what I mean? And it probably hurt it in some way, shape, or form. Whereas most people are just, you know, getting atmospheric energy and using that through the copper rod to get to the plant, right? Yeah. So it'd be less. So, I mean, so like I said, I'm going to test it out because I am legitimately curious where I grow giant stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I want to know because, hey, if this could help me, if a copper rod could help me go from.
They're not that expensive.
It's not that expensive. Might as well try. And it's not like the videos that I've come across that say, go walk outside for grounding with the earth and it's going to, you know, it's going to heal your cancer. Right. Well, you know, if I have cancer, I'm probably going to go to the doctor because I want treatment. Right. I'm not going to stand outside and just be one with the earth and hope it takes it away. Right. So, I mean, there's some stuff that it's going to hurt you or it's not going to hurt you. You can test some stuff pretty easy and it's not going to, it's not going to affect your life too much.
Right. Exactly. Well, here's another one. You know, he said he's trying, you know, will it grow? He's keeping, he says he's got a copper rod, you know, like a Deep South and does. And the plants that don't have it are doing 10 times better. So, you know, he's saying, you know,
that's a reverse experiment. Yeah,
right, exactly. You know? So I think there's so much that plays into this. I think a lot of it has to do not with the copper rod. Here's what I think it has to do with. I don't care where you're at in your yard. You're not going to have the same amount of nutrients and the same negative and positive charges in that ground. And, you know, if you grow here and you go 2 foot down and plant again, you're going to have different nutrients. You're going to have different positive and positive and negative reactions. And I think that's what we're seeing. I think we're seeing, you know, and we think sticking a copper rod in the ground is working. What it really probably is probably just if we tested the soil there, where the copper rod is. I think if we tested that soil, we would see we had a phenomenal reaction, both positive, negative charges and, you know, nutrients, as opposed to where we might not have had one.
Yeah. Well, and I wonder if it's not just the interaction with the metal.
I mean,
the oxidation of the copper is going to give off.
Is the copper giving anything out that's leaching into the soil?
Would be giving not so much gathering electricity from the air, because I bet if you put a voltmeter on a copper rod, it's probably not going to register a lot of electricity. You'd probably zero. I bet zero electricity you're going to measure unless it's a thunderstorm. Right. But I think copper itself in the ground is going to give off just the metal, the presence of the metal.
Well, you're right, because the old Italians, my dad, he used to work in or he was around some when he was a kid. I can't remember which one it was. Either he worked for some people who had a vineyard or was around people who had a vineyard. But he said what they would do is they would take nails and bury by their grapevines.
Right.
Because the grapes wanted an excessive amount
oxidation.
Of right.
It's an oxidation.
He said the grapevines were always pretty.
Yeah, I could see that, because you're getting an oxidation. That's a chemical. That's like a measurable chemical reaction, which is the oxidation of the copper. It's the oxidation of the iron in the nails. I mean, that's something measurable, right? That's you're adding something to the soil. Gathering electricity from the air, I don't know, but copper is going to be giving off some oxidation, right?
Right, absolutely.
It has to leach too. I mean, copper will leach.
And we probably need to wrap in about 7 minutes or something. You know,
whenever y'all.
All right, probably about that time. I know it's getting dark outside. Got to do our bedtime chores.
We're real big on people like you do you. We do that all the time. Like if it works for you, and
do it. Yeah,
and you swear by it.
Yeah,
I mean, if you do ring around the rosy and sing to your plants and you swear that your tomatoes 18 pounds, that I say do it every morning and it's working for you. And I'm not going to tell you you're wrong because it works.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I'm on the same boat. I just, I want to make sure, when people come to my channel or, that I'm giving them the best
info
that I can give them, right? Because
absolutely,
I don't want to be one of those who are just trendsetters and just going along with those, because then you get wrapped up in that whole ball of wax, and eventually the chickens come home to roost, pun intended, right? And
exactly.
And then when they do, everybody's like, well, hey, this guy's told a lot of
BS.
stuff.
Yeah,
just not
going
to work,
and like when I do chicken videos, I just tell people, this is what I've learned through my years of chicken tending. It might not work for you and it might not be right, and somebody else might have a better idea, but I've never pulled a chicken's wing out when it was 3 weeks old and been like, that's a rooster or that's a girl. No,
or pick it up by the fluff of the
that doesn't work. That doesn't
work. If you want
to, if event sex is the way to go, that's what the hatcheries do. If you don't know how to vent sex, then you might need to wait until you see some saddle feathers, or if you more chickens, how boys act. So you're probably like.
And she just did a video today that'll drop Thursday.
Yeah, about how to try to show, because we were at a friend's house.
Yeah,
and they got a new set of chickens. And I had given them a boy already that I knew was a boy because he was the male black sex link that I had hatched out. And I was like, well, you've got 2 more boys in there. But they were I'm maybe 3 weeks old. Mm-hmm. And they're like, no, these are all pullets. We bought them as pullets. I'm like, no, I get that. But at the store, vent sexing is 90% accurate. So there's going to be some oopsies in the bin. And you got 2 oopsies in the bin. And they're like, how do you know? And I'm like, because it walks like a rooster. It walks like a duck. It talks like a duck. It's a duck.
Exactly.
I can look at a bull. I can look at little, baby chicks. And I just, from years of hatching, more than I want to say I've hatched, I could tell which ones are going to be boys just about how they're walking and how they're interacting. I'm like, those are boys. And they're like, well, we'll see. And then they started crowing like 2 months later. And they're like, well, they're boys. I'm like, I knew it.
I'll let my wife pick the chickens every time, because if I get 6, she'll come home with 1 rooster and 5 hens.
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Yeah. So, and that's the thing. Like, you get 6, you're really only getting maybe 4, because there's going to be roosters.
Yeah, you don't know. You might lose 1.
Yeah, you could lose 1. You probably got a rooster in there. Yeah.
Right. I mean, but you're right. They all have, certain ways and stuff. And it is a learning process. It's sitting there watching the animals and learning behaviors.
Where to begin homestead? If you make a little video on those Cochrans walking around, I'll tell you if they're boys or not.
Yeah, if you want to tag us or something, she could sex your chickens for you on a video.
I can't. For me, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Because unless you're looking at like 4 months old when you got saddle feathers coming in, or if you're really good at checking hackle feathers, a lot of times, like right from the top, you're going to start getting the pointy ones in. But those can be tricky because a lot of times on hens, they come in pointy until they get a little longer to round out.
And even on some breeds, saddle feathers are kind of wonky sometimes. Like the millies that I have, they get very, very few saddle feathers right on the top, and it's about that far.
Right.
And the rest of them are all circles, and so when they're young, before the comb completely fills out on those millies, or they start crowing, you're kind of like, or the neck feathers start coming in,
Right.
So you're just kind of like, I don't know about that one. And then, usually about the time you're starting to guess is about the time you start hearing a little.
Right. Because the boys are going to put all their feathers on, and they're going to look like they have cushion feathers on their back, but those saddles don't come in until later. So you got to keep parting and seeing if you've got, full feathers and you still got some more feathers coming in. Doesn't matter if they're in or not. That's going to be a boy because they're starting to pop through. Right. I had a Wyandotte last year just get me, and like I could usually tell if it's a boy or not, but this one I swore was a girl. And then I was looking at it, and every time I'd come in, it would like go and hang out like in a corner somewhere, and I'm like, what is with that thing? And I went and picked it up. I'm like, that's because you're a boy. You've been hiding on me. You have been hiding. I picked it up and I could see little saddle feathers starting to come out of it. Yeah. I'm like, man, you've been seeing me pluck those boys out for weeks now.
I've got 3 of them out there yesterday that have all their neck feather, their long neck feathers in, their back feathers are on there.
Mm-hmm.
But they will not grow any tail feathers.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well that's normal.
And anytime anybody's out there, their tail feathers are dragging a little bit, but look, they got like 1 or 2, but they try to tuck them or something.
Yeah,
like you'll literally see them go under.
Trying to hide.
And then some boys have really like predominant sickle feathers, and some breeds just have like a little bit of a tiny curve, so you can't tell. Like my male Brahmas don't get a gigantic curve on a sickle. They just get like a nice cascade that kind of curves under like a little bit on their tail. They don't get that, picturesque that you see painted on the side of every decoration sickle feather. They don't. Yeah, they don't.
Yeah. So one last thing. What about peacocks?
I would love a peacock just because they're beautiful. Those boys are beautiful.
Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. I love them. Those, my dream would be to have peacock, emu peacocks, golden pheasants, and mandarin ducks.
Nice.
Those are the goals.
Right you could keep the ducks. I'll take everything else.
Ducks, they act like the mandarin ducks aren't too bad. They get in wood boxes and kind of stay in in those. They don't really make much mess and stuff from what I've seen. Of course, I've been watching a lot of White House on the Hill, I think is what they're called.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of mandarin ducks and stuff like that. And really have never seen any messes from them. So, so last question, let you guys get out of here.
All right.
What's next for you guys?
Projects wise, so we just built the turkey coop. We're probably going to rest a little bit. We got to work on our garden. Our garden's a little behind right now.
And the greenhouse.
Yeah, a greenhouse is going to be my next big project. I want to mix in aquaponics with it. So I haven't really jumped into it. And I'm probably overthinking it, but I want to do an aquaponics greenhouse so I can have the hydroponics and whatnot, get some fish in there. That's probably my next big project. I don't know if that's going to be 2023 or maybe next spring, something like that. But that'll be my next big project, probably is a greenhouse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, guys, you guys are really awesome. And,
thanks. It's been great chatting with you. We're really enjoying the conversation.
Been a blast. Yeah. I would love to have you guys back on again. Maybe get you guys on in the fall and kind of see how your all summer went. And if you got any, if you had any projects like what you're talking about with the aquaponics,
I'll be hatching in in the fall again.
She'll be hatching again.
There you go.
He said I was done. I said for the season.
Right. And you get to stay when season's in, right?
Right.
There you go.
Spring season's over.
Yeah.
Right. So, but it was really good having you guys on, and
thank you.
I really, really appreciate y'all coming on. Go ahead and I'll read off these dates real quick, and then we'll end this. Let's see here. Where did I put it?
We do email. Yeah, just email me. We'll figure a date out.
Yeah. We'll definitely.
Okay, just email me. Yep, I'm on email all the time.
Let's see here. Okay, so I'll email you and get you what dates I have available left, and we'll get together and get you guys back on here. All right.
Sounds great. Good. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you guys for coming on, and like I said, we'll email. We'll get y'all back on.
Sounds good. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
And thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for watching. You guys keep it fun.
Yeah. Thank y'all. So, guys, we'll see you guys next time. I'm gonna let you guys go so you can go get your chores done, and I'm gonna talk to these guys just a second more and let them know what we got coming up next.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. All right, y'all. So let's wrap this up real quick, man. It was good having them on. I really enjoyed that. That was a wonderful chat with them. Thank you guys for coming in here tonight. So let's see what we got coming up. So next Tuesday, June 27th, we have Andale Homestead coming on. I'm really excited about this. I've been looking forward to it as well. So we're going to have her coming on next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget, guys, every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless otherwise specified, we've got a live stream going on. July 3rd, which is a Monday, because Tuesday is July 4th. On July 3rd, that Monday, we have Smart Pots, Fabric Pots coming on to talk to us about their fabric pots and stuff. That should be a good video, learning, about them and their pots and everything, and how they got started and stuff, and all that. So on July 11th, we have Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. Very happy to have Teresa coming on with us, and we're going to talk to her about her homestead and how she's been prepping and stuff. July 18th, we got Extreme Gardening coming on with Travis Ginger. Travis told me today that he has already set his pumpkin, and on Sunday, he's releasing the video. It's going to be a day 20. So he's way ahead of me. I ain't even close to pollinating. So we'll see what he's got in store for us this year. He's the guy that owns the U.S. record at 2,560 pounds. So we got him and Extreme Gardening coming on the 18th of July. July 25th is open. So if you're interested in coming in, come on in. Just email me at babydrill2119yahoo.com. Live stream in the subject. August 1st, we have Enoch Graham from the Urban Gardener coming in. Then on August 8th, we have Acorn Creek Farmstead coming on to be with us. And then on August 15th, we have Tony from Wakefield Biochar coming in here with us. August 22nd, we have Ange Ferraro or Fanning Homestead coming in to talk to us about her homesteading and stuff. Really good Instagram channel. Go check her out as well. Go check out all these people. They're really good ones. August 29th, we have Jesus Loving Homestead coming on. We got Nathan and Carmen from Jesus Loving Homestead coming on with us to talk to us about their homesteading adventures. September 5th, we have Nicole Smith Gardening coming on. September 12th, we have Chase from Trophy Smack coming on with us. They are the ones that are sponsoring our YouTube challenge this year for growing a giant pumpkin. So check them out. They helped us get that great big old championship belt like it's the WCW, right? Then on September 19th, we have Sandy from Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona, coming back on with us on September 19th. We're going to see how she done this season and how her giants grew. All right. September 26th is open. October 3rd, we have Yogi Hollow Farm. We got Lisa from Yogi Hollow Farm coming on with us. October 10th through December 26th is open. So, guys, if you want on this year, if you want on the live stream this year, highly encourage you email me at babydrill2119@yahoo.com. In the subject title, put live stream. I'll send you the dates that we have available and get you on so you guys can come on. I love having people on. I don't care if you got 1 subscriber. I don't care if you got 1 million subscribers. If you want on here, I want you on. It's all about building community, having friends, and having a good conversation about the things that you love to do on your homestead or in your gardening. So, guys, come on in if you want to. Email me again, babydrill2119@yahoo.com. Again, we would love to have you on, and we're going to get out of here for tonight. So, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate all you guys coming in here. Share the video if you don't mind, and we're going to get on out of here. Thanks again to Two Docs Homestead. We really appreciated you guys coming on. Highly knowledgeable people. We're going to get them back on to talk more about these chickens and stuff and to see how she's going to be doing her fall breeding. So I can't wait for that. As always, guys, we appreciate you watching, and we'll see you again next time right here, Hollers and Hills of West Virginia. See y'all.